So for the equipment, it's very simple. Everything what you need. I mean, I have a collection of nice sticks because I like to use nice sticks, or like use wire wrapping around, or you see like a nice string. But all what you need is kind of some sticks, some little thread, probably a knife, and some needles. And that's pretty much everything what we need to build us a tool. What is also very handy is having a clamp and having a lighter. And this will be the tools we will use today to build our own tool. Maybe we build 2 or 3 different tools. And as I was mentioned before, it doesn't matter what you find and where you find it. You can use everything. I will show you also how to use like a tool you can buy, and they're right hand poke tattoo tool, and you find a lot of them in the internet. But honestly, like, this is like, I only have this. I'm sure some of my tattooists have a few more of them. And usually a good friend of mine, Flying Swastika, he's also some sort of living here in Thailand. And he's a very known in the world of handbook and traditional tattooing. He's probably one of the ones who is 2 decades handbook tattooing here in Europe, long before it got trendy, long before people really know about. He have a lot of tools and tricks. And I got many handmade tattoos on me in my first layer of bodysuit, and any kind of way. And that's pretty much everything you need. I will speak about the needles very soon. What else you need? You will need color. I have made my own color, and I love to some sort of make my own color for some tattoos, like using ash and spit and ocean water and whatever you find. There are no rules. There's so much stuff in the nature which you can actually use and transform to ink, and it's very funny to experiment a little bit with it, but it's no harm with buying good ink. Usually I would say for the traditional tattoos, you probably mostly only need black. For the black, I absolutely recommend you Kurozumi outlining ink. Don't buy the filling ink. Don't buy anything else than a very simple outline ink. It's the best you can have for making any kind of tattoos. It's for a lot of decades out of the market, so you don't have to worry about anything. I 100% can recommend you that ink, and it's also very easy to get in. When you want to take colors, I just recommend you using Star Bright colors or Intense. That's like the brands we are using for everything here. I use for multiple decades, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I will put the next 1 or 2 chapters. I will throw in here everything what I speak about, the equipment I use for normal tattoos, like the collars and the needles, just as an extra for this workshop. Handbook tattooing is a lot more simple, so you don't need to know as much about different needles and different stuff as for normal tattooing, but I think it's still very nice to give you, when you want the access to that information. When you are not interested and you want just like go fast through that tutorial, then just skip them and dive into the next when it's about how we build our own tools. So let's dive very quick into needles before I give you the extra things. For the needles, there's 2 sorts of needles which I use for handbook tattooing. One is the round liner, they are round, and ones are the magnums. ones are flat. Let me show you that difference. So that's are the round ones and that's are the magnums. So what you see here, the wider one, that is a magnum, so it's splitted, it's open, the needles are like go to left and right, and it's like almost like two rows of needles over each other. And this is like probably my favorite tool for most sort of handbook tattoos. And when it comes to like dot work or liner work with like a little bit more curve, then I used most of the times the round liner, and I'm not a big fan of the real liner for this. I'm always used like needles with a little bit more open, so that means a shader, filler, round shader. Usually on the needle package itself, how they are called the M for the magnum, and they are called the round shader. And then you will have the round liner, and I quickly draw you the difference of the liner, and I will go a little bit more in detail in the extra lecture I add. So the round liner is like pointed together, so it's like with the same amount, like let's say that's like 5 needles, we have like this wideness, and then you have the round shader, and let's say we also have the same size of needles, but they are not pointed, so they are like a lot wider. So even that both of them have 5, and this one is the error L, and this is the error S, the round shader and the round liner, and this is the number you can read on here. And as you see, this is a 9 round liner, so that would be a more pointed needle. And let me see, here we go, and we take a little bit a bigger one. This is a 12 round liner. So the 12 round liner, it's pointed together very small. And I show you an easy trick to make out of the round liner a round shader, because then you never have to buy a round shader, because sometimes it's nice to have the line more together, but normally I prefer to, instead of using a pointed thing, to just use something with less needles. And yeah, let me show you that quick. Everything what you have to do is to put some fire here, and tada, it's open now. That's what happened, it's open. I don't know if you can see that in my top camera, the difference, but it's just opens up completely, because to make the round shader, you kind of have to put it together, and then you put the welding stuff on it, and then it stays like this. But with the lighter, I just open it up, because then the little small welding stuff, it get liquid. Then the needles like go up, and then it's get hard again. And that's an easy way to make out of a liner a shader. Takes you like no time. It's still sterile because it's fire and it's traditional anyway. So don't worry too much about that. I will go later more precise in what needle you need for what, and really when you're curious about a lot of different needles and stuff, I just drop in the more detailed needle explanation I made for the basic tattoo workshop, and then we are moving on. So yeah, where to get the equipment? Honestly, when you're just like just get the equipment on eBay. It doesn't matter where you get it from, because most of the needles are the same, and I'm not someone who thinks like these needles are better than that needles and so on. And it's also hard to say, because when I was making still a lot of handbook tattoos, I used a lot of the time the Magnum needle for making lines. And I liked the way of using Magnum needles for making the lines. So I cannot say this is a common technique, and I don't know much people who done this. So it's always your way to find your way, what is more comfortable for you and what is suitable for your style, what you progress with your way of tattooing. And I mean, something like strings you get everywhere. This kind of pieces you get everywhere. Find pieces in the woods. Find like, you see like little pieces of wood you find everywhere. You can take basically every piece of wood and you can mount a needle here and you can tattoo with it. So there are not really rules of where to really get that stuff, and you can be creative. The ink you will get, something like ink caps, like that stuff. I will put somewhere in the workshop a list where you can find some of the things. Probably you find everything on Amazon or on eBay, so don't worry too much. And a lot of the hygienic stuff, which I will also drop in just like a big bright hygienic explanation, you will basically find like in the supermarket or also on eBay or Amazon. So it's like very simple to get all of the stuff. You don't need to have a special license or anything. You can basically start in a few days.